Nearly 1 in every 4 men on this planet undergoes a physical procedure at some point in their lives. This isn't due to a pandemic or a modern medical requirement. It's an ancient ritual, one that has been practiced for thousands of years and connects billions of people. Circumcision. This practice, most strongly identified with the Muslim world, raises many questions for an outsider. Is it merely a cultural custom, a strict religious obligation, or is there something deeper, hidden beneath the surface, historical, theological, and even biological codes that we don't see at first glance? In this video, we're going to investigate like detectives. We'll set aside personal beliefs and biases to uncover the roots of the question. Why do Muslims get circumcised? We will rely only on data, historical texts, and the findings of modern science. By the end of this journey, you'll see this ancient ritual in a completely different light, understanding what it truly signifies for a global civilization. If you're curious, let's begin. It's logical to start our investigation with the most fundamental question. Is this practice commanded in Islam's holy book, the Quran? The short and definitive answer is no. There is not a single verse in the Quran that explicitly commands circumcision. For those unfamiliar with the topic, this is often the first surprising fact. So if the command isn't in the Quran, what is the source of such a widespread and fundamental practice? The answer lies in the concept of sunnah, the teachings and practices of the Prophet Muhammad. But the story's roots go back thousands of years before him to a figure considered the patriarch of the 3 great monotheistic faiths, Abraham. According to historical and religious accounts, Abraham circumcised himself as a physical sign of a covenant, a pact made with God. It was a visible, permanent symbol etched onto the body, signifying his and his descendants' devotion. This is why the practice is known as an Abrahamic tradition. It's not exclusive to Islam. It holds central importance in Judaism as well. But what is the philosophy behind the symbolism? When we look at the interpretations of Islamic scholars and thinkers, 3 core ideas emerge. 1. Fitra, primordial nature. In Islamic theology, fitra is the pure, untainted, and perfect state of being that humans are born with. In this belief system, circumcision is seen as a physical manifestation of the effort to return to these factory settings. It is the completion of a spiritual ideal through a physical act. 2. Tahara, or ritual purity. Physical cleanliness is a cornerstone of Islamic worship, especially for the daily prayers. In a historical context, a world without modern hygiene facilities, circumcision provided a practical means of cleanliness. It was thought to facilitate the state of tahara required for worship. This is a highly logical and practical justification. 3. A sense of belonging. Throughout history, communities have used various markers to define themselves. In this context, circumcision was seen as a physical emblem of belonging to the Muslim community, the Ummah. This wasn't meant as an act of exclusion, but rather as an identity card, signifying I am part of this family. A ritual under the microscope of modern science. Let's put aside the thousands of years of theological and cultural foundations for a moment. Now, let's look through the lens of the 21st century. How does this ancient practice hold up to the scrutiny of modern science and medicine? The findings are quite remarkable. Leading global health organizations such as the World Health Organization, the American Academy of Pediatrics, and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, all acknowledge the potential health benefits of circumcision. Let's look at these benefits objectively. First, hygiene and risk of infection. The anatomy is simple. The absence of the foreskin allows the area to stay cleaner and drier. This significantly reduces the risk of common and painful infections like balanitis. Second, urinary tract infections, or UTIs. Extensive studies have shown that circumcised infants have a significantly lower risk of developing UTIs, especially within the first year of life, compared to their uncircumcised peers. And third, and perhaps most strikingly, sexually transmitted infections. This is a global public health issue. Major studies conducted by the WHO, particularly in Africa, have concluded that male circumcision reduces the risk of heterosexually acquired HIV infection in men by approximately 60%. There is also strong evidence that it offers protection against other viruses, like HPV, the virus that can cause cervical cancer in women, and herpes. Fourth, cancer risk. Although penile cancer is very rare, data consistently shows that the incidence rate is significantly lower among circumcised men. Of course, this does not mean that circumcision is a medical necessity for everyone, nor is it a risk-free procedure. But the fact that a 1,000-year-old religious ritual produces outcomes that modern science affirms with a yes, this has measurable benefits, is an extraordinary intersection worthy of reflection. In the end, there is no single, simple answer to the question, why do Muslims get circumcised? It's like assembling the pieces of a giant puzzle. The pieces of this puzzle include a historical legacy inherited from the patriarch Abraham, a theological symbolism aiming for spiritual purity and perfection, a practical approach to cleanliness for daily life and worship, a sociological marker of identity that strengthens community bonds, and layered on top of all that, a biological reality whose benefits are confirmed by modern science. So circumcision is not just a medical procedure or a blind tradition. It is a multi-layered cultural phenomenon where history, faith, identity, and health intersect on the human body. I hope this objective and in-depth look has opened a new window for understanding this complex subject. What are your observations or questions? Let's continue the learning process together in the comments. If you found this investigation valuable, you can support more journeys into curiosity by subscribing to the channel and liking this video. Until we meet again in pursuit of the next question, stay curious.